In our Sunrise Smart Start, a leaked opinion shows the U.S. Supreme Court is poised to overturn the landmark Roe v. Wade case.
We're joined right now by Washington correspondent Hannah Brandt, who is live in D.C. with the latest. Hannah, good morning. At this point, what do we know about this leaked report?
Good morning. Well, this is not the court's official decision, and that's important to know. That's not expected until this summer. But this leaked document was released by Politico, and it says that the justices are planning to vote to overturn Roe v. Wade, which would really clear the way for restrictive abortion laws and even outright bans.
All right, Hannah, thank you very much for your time this morning. A decision in the case had been expected again before the court begins its summer recess in late June or early July.
Let's get some reaction from New York politicians about all of this. Governor Hochul releasing a statement saying, in part, for the sake of women across the country, this should not be the Supreme Court's final opinion when it comes to abortion rights. For anyone who needs access to care, our state will welcome you with open arms. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand echoing those sentiments, saying in part, with this fundamental right in jeopardy, it is incumbent upon states like New York, where abortion is safe and accessible, to open our doors to those seeking care. In other news this morning, two people facing charges in the robbery and murder of Alicia Saladiga from April 2021 are due in court today. Investigators say Christopher Pate and Jennifer Shea assaulted and robbed Saladiga inside her hotel room on Mount Read Boulevard. A medical examiner ruled her death a homicide. Both defendants have been charged with robbery and assault. Shea is also charged with murder.
In developing news this morning, a 36-year-old man hospitalized after a shooting last night in Rochester. Police say the man, who is a Florida resident, walked into a local hospital around 9:30 after being shot in the upper body. Investigators believe this happened on Lake Avenue. His injuries are non-life-threatening and an investigation is ongoing.
Police are calling a stabbing from last month a homicide. Now, investigators say Shadaria Flemings stabbed 36-year-old Timothy Williams back on April 18th. during a domestic dispute. Williams died from those injuries Wednesday. This is Rochester's 24th homicide of the year.
2 homicides were confirmed over the past few days in Rochester, and many more shootings during what was a violent weekend. The violence alarming much of the community. News 8 visited the Rochester Police Department's camera room, which is a tool investigators consider a first line of defense when responding to tips they get from the public.
When a shooting call comes in, the camera operators immediately start looking at the cameras in the area of where that shot job is to start looking for any potential suspects leaving, looking for any victims that may be shot. The kind of eyes in the sky that can get there before any police officer can get there to help us respond appropriately and correctly and hopefully A, take care of victims, but then B, also apprehend suspects.
And Rochester police say 150 cameras throughout the city, along with other technology like shot spotter detection and tips from the public, can be key to saving a life.
The trial of Keith Williams, the man accused of attacking a Rochester police officer and robbing him of his eyesight, is moving into a second week. Last Friday, Officer Denny Wright took the stand, telling jurors he was tired, weak, and scared on the day he lost his sight back in October of 2019. He testified that at one point he had the opportunity to try to shoot Williams, but did not because there were other people in the room and he was afraid of hitting them. Williams has been charged with attempted murder. If convicted, he is facing 40 years to life in prison.
Well, James joining us now, 46 degrees starting on this Tuesday morning, James, but we're expected to get close to 70.
Yeah, should be a pretty decent day. A nice one for maybe a little dog walk or a good run this morning, as you've got pretty comfortable temperatures. So certainly light jacket worthy, though. You get that heart rate up, it feels good on a morning like today. Wind starts to pick up out of the south, southeast. That will help bump those numbers up in the 60s to near 70. If you're along Lake Ontario, you'll certainly be cooler in the 50s and low 60s, but note the rain chances. Those bump up significantly as we get into the afternoon. Likely showers move in. Say goodbye to that sun as well. when it returns, and a look at the bus stop forecast at the end of the show. Mark Valley.
James, thank you. Checking the roads now with our sunrise traffic. Let's start with the good news right now. No accidents to report on 390, 490, or 590 at this hour. There is the bad news, there is one accident in Rochester on Wren Street at Lexington Avenue, so seek to avoid that area if you can. Well, coming up tonight in Brighton, a public workshop for a plan on inclusion and diversity. The town board is seeking input on a draft before adopting it. Erica Cost joining us live this morning with the details. Erica.
Good morning. Well, the IDEA board has been working on this plan since 2019. That stands for Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advisory. The plan will focus on areas like communication, public safety, and housing, also focusing on relations with Brighton Police. Tonight, the town will have an opportunity to review and discuss the draft. Once adopted, the plan will be used by the town to guide decision-making in day-to-day work. The plan is organized into 6 key areas: communication, education and celebration, engagement and partnerships, policies, economics, public safety, and infrastructure. Each area has 3 elements: focus, a long-term goal, and strategies. Some of the strategies listed include a bias and sensitivity training, including more culturally diverse artwork, and appointing a town diversity and inclusion officer. The town has already done this. They recently appointed Miriam Moore-Burt for the position. Tonight will be her first public meeting in that seat. For now, in Brighton, Erica Cost, News 8.
Erica, thank you. And the meeting is at 7 p.m. in the town hall. You can view the full plan and comment online at brightonidea.org. Well, it was a celebration of a life that impacted so many other lives. James Sauer was one of the pilots killed in the Mercy Flight helicopter crash last week in Elba. Thousands coming out to pay their respects Monday to a soldier, a policeman, and a fireman who piloted all kinds of aircraft, both at home and abroad. A man who even in retirement flew medevac missions like the Mercy Flight. A man dedicated to service to his country and to his community as well.
Oh my goodness, when you think of Jimmy Sauer, who's another man like him?
If people emulated somebody like Jim Sauer, this would be a much better world, that's for sure.
Jim Sauer was the very best that this culture could produce.
Well, Sauer died alongside fellow pilot Stuart Dietrich of Texas during a training mission when the helicopter's tail boom separated and that copter crashed into a field. The cause of the fatal crash is still under investigation. In news from around the state, former Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin will no longer be on the state Democratic primary ballot. Benjamin resigned after being indicted on federal bribery charges, but was still expected to be on the ballot due to election laws. Legislation has now passed that makes it possible for him to be removed, and Benjamin announced on Twitter he will sign the proper paperwork necessary to make that happen. In national news, an Oklahoma judge ruled Monday that a lawsuit seeking reparations for the 1921 Tulsa race massacre can proceed. This is bringing new hope for 3 survivors of the deadly racist rampage who are now over 100 years old and were in the courtroom for that ruling. The massacre took place when an angry white mob descended upon a 35-block area in Tulsa's Greenwood district, killing people there, looting, and burning businesses and homes. A jury has convicted former NYPD officer Thomas Webster of assaulting an officer during the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol. This comes as the January 6 committee won its most recent court case when a Trump-appointed federal judge ruled the Republican National Committee must hand over some of its data. Judge Timothy Kelly sided with the committee as it seeks the RNC data, saying its funding efforts after the 2020 election helped stoke violence at the Capitol. Well, more severe weather hitting southern and midwestern states. Have a look here. This damage after a tornado swept through parts of Oklahoma. The state was under a storm watch alert yesterday with gusts up to 80 miles per hour and baseball-sized hail. Here's what folks will be talking about at the water cooler, from baseballs to footballs. From the NFL, star wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins has been suspended for 6 games for violating the league's performance-enhancing drug policy. Hopkins had appealed that decision but withdrew that appeal yesterday. He is a 3-time first-team All-Pro and one of the top players in the league with the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, I bet you some folks, Allie, will also be talking about some of those dresses at the Met Gala last night.
That's what I'll be talking about this morning. Lots of beautiful dresses last night. If you didn't get to see them, they're all over social media.
Yes, easy to find, James. Easy to find.
Right, yeah, hard to miss, certainly. And hopefully we can enjoy it this morning as we chat about those beautiful gowns. Bus stop forecast. Sunrise was at 6:01. We'll have a little bit of sun this morning. Starting off in the 40s, but quickly warming. We get into the 60s, well into the 60s, near 70 this afternoon. Cloudy, then rain showers arrive likely after 4 p.m. Rain showers hang out with us overnight, and then into Wednesday, you got AM showers there, and muted with temperatures slowly warming back up as we get into the weekend.
All right. Well, nice day today, James. We'll enjoy it. Thank you. And thank you so much for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next. Have a great day.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.